Okay, so now let's proceed or let's discuss my topic entitled The Philippine Cartoons, Political Caricature of the American Era on 1900s to 1941 by Alfred McCoy. So before we discuss on what is the political caricature of Alfred McCoy, let's know first on what is caricature. So caricature, it comes from the Italian word which is carico and caricare. So that means to load or to exaggerate. So it is a picture, description, or imitation of a person in which a certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or a grotesque effect. So, caricature, in other words, it is a painting or drawing that typically in a political cartoons or satirical art. So, to highlight a certain features or traits of a person, group, or situation. So now, I'll be introducing to you on who is Alfred McCoy. So this is Alfred McCoy and his full name is Alfred William McCoy. He is a 72 years old. He was born on June 8, 1945 at Massachusetts, USA. He is an educator of Harrington Professor of History at the University of Wisconsin at Madison. He is an American and he is also known for political caricatures of the American era. So, Alfred McCoy, he is a professor of history at the University of Wisconsin, where he also served as the director of Centriforo Southeast Asian Studies. So, specialized in Philippine political history and global opium trafficking. So, opium, it is a kind of plant that you can make as a drug. So, it's like a marijuana. So, gaya ng marijuana, kung sisingutin mo ito ng parang droga, ay kagaya rin ito ng opium na magiging high ka rin at magkakaroon ka rin ng mga hallucinations. So, Alfred McCoy, he is a prominent American historian and professor that known for his work of history of U.S. foreign policy, particularly in the Southeast Asia. So, one of the most well-known and extensive research works is the politics of Heruan in the Southeast Asia. So, in this book, Alfred McCoy examines the role of the U.S. government and the CIA in the international drug trade. So CIA, or Central Intelligence Agency, it is a civilian foreign intelligence service of the federal government of the United States. So now, let's proceed to the next topic, the Philippine cartoons political caricature of the American era on 1900s to 1941. So it is a modern art form that turned away from classical art by exaggerating human features and prodding fun at its subject. So it is also known as the editorial cartoon that expresses artists' opinions toward a certain issues. So, the Philippine cartoons, it is a form of art expression. So this is not just the art itself. It is the expression or opinions of the artist. It is a symbolic presentation of the American era that happened in the Philippines. So this art, it became a part of the print media as a form of political and social commentary that usually pinpoint the person's power and authority. It is a study that explores how political cartoons were used during the American colonial period in the Philippines to comment on the social, political, and the economic issues of the time. So, this was the book that made by Alfred McCoy and also by his closest friend and mentor, Alfred Roses. So, the purpose of this is to understand the social and political context of the Philippines during the American period. So, here are some of their awards. So, first is the Philippine Catholic Mass Media Award as the Best Book of the Year on 1985. Second is the Philippine National Book Award for History in 1986. And the last is was awarded in Manila, the Gunting Aklat Award, Special Citation for History in 1897. So they also have popular books like Shadow of the American Century, The Rise and the Decline of U.S. Global Power on 2017, The Policing Americans Empire, The United States, The Philippines and the Rise of the Surveillance States on 2009. And the last is The Politics of Heroin in Southeast Asia, a classic work on drug trafficking. So now, let's know the historical background of the political caricature of the American era, the editorial cartoons. So during the American era, Philippine political cartoons gained full expression during the American era. Filipino artists at this era, they recorded national attitudes towards the coming of the Americans as well as the changing notes and time. So in this time of the American occupation, it's like it's very different from the time of the Spaniards. So it's because the Filipinos find a way or genre on how they can express their political ideas against the American occupation. It's like the time of Rizal. So, di ba, in the time of Rizal, they wrote different kinds of articles and books against the Spaniards. So, in this time of the American political caricature, it is also the same of what Rizal did in his time, but in different way lang. So, it became more intense because ginawa nila itong printed or drawing, kagaya na lang ng editorial cartoon. So now, I'll be discussing the content presentation and the analysis. So the characters to emphasize on the good side are shown in normal features, while the bad, emaciated, leering, laughing creatures, and more on animal features than human. So for example, the Chinese man in the cartoon editorial called "Is the Police Force Bribe?" So the artists, using their cartoon, they illustrated not just their opinions but the broad image of the Philippines under the U.S. So it's not only the opinion of the artist that is found on the political cartoons, but also the real situation or the real happenings on the Philippines during the Spaniards' colonizations. So now, let's proceed to the historical information. So there are 5 images here that has a message and also speaks to people through drawing or cartoons. So image number 1, this image depicts the first of the Manila's periodic police scandals during the American era. So the cartoonist, Fernando Amorsolo, gives the illustration of his usual racist edge. So for example, Chinese men are usually caricatured for they are described as the corruptors or opium smugglers. So in this image, as you can see, it says here that is the police force bribe. So the police are letting the Chinese people or Chinese persons to spread the opium in the Philippines. So the purpose of why Fernando Amorsolo draw this kind of image is to let the people show that he's been annoyed of the wrong services of the policemen in the Philippines. So instead that he speaks up about this concern, he instead make this as a drawing or a cartoon about his observations um, of the wrong services or wrongdoings of our legal authorities. So image number 2, the cartoon's caption is the new bird of prey or new bird of prey. So it is an allusion to the most famous libel case in the history of the Philippine journalist. So this image illustrated the fate of a local newspaper publication after an editorial attacking of a high-ranking official in the Philippine Commission, or a closure of the paper of selling of its assets due to the libel cases. So image number 3. So this drawing or this editorial is a cartoon that urged the government to confiscate the large priest residence that is attached to the Santa Cruz Parish Church, and people are congested to the Plaza Goiti and Plaza Santa Cruz while the single priest sits in a sprawling residence. So as you can see in this image, it's like a big hometown, while the front of that hometown is a lot of people that is waiting. So these people at the left side of the picture are living beside the Santa Cruz Church. So while the other side, the big hometown or the big residence is or was owned by a single priest. So this whole area daw was owned by a single priest. So there is a humor that it wasn't owned by him daw. So when the time of the Spaniards, the friars or the fraile are powerful. So this is the reason why this priest has a big area than the people. It's because that time they were scared to confiscate or get the part of the part sa lupa na sa kanila. So the people wants to confiscate it and to be returned to them and be fair and equal to all. So the people in this time ay parang nagkaroon sila ng lakas ng loob na sa tulong na rin ng gobyerno ay mabawi nila ang lugar na sa kanila. So para na rin sa ikabubuti ng lahat at magkaroon sila ng patas na lupa na tinitirihan. So image number 4, handling control of the Board of Health to Filipinos as a public health risk. So the Board of Health is like a DOH back then. So they have different institution, but they have the same responsibilities and duties among the towards to the public health services. So why it is a health risk? So it is a health risk because here in this image, as you can see, like in this upper part or upper left, it says here that wiwisikan daw ng petrol ang mga lamok. But instead na yung mga lamok ang mamatay, ay yung mga tao ang namatay dahil may malakas na chemical na dala ang petrol. So also in this right side, let's just say this tiny insects is a mosquitoes that brings dengue. So in this situation, people will just run away lang daw. It's because they don't have the knowledge, or they don't know how to prevent their or themselves. So the ending, in this lower part of the image, people will become a victim. So they will just die due to this illness. So it's because of the government. So the government, who is the one who's in charge of the public health, and the people doesn't have an experience in handling this kind of field. So this is why they call this a health risk, because uh, instead na pag pumunta tayo sa mga public na clinic o public na mga paggamutan, ay magagamot tayo at makakatipid tayo, ay mas lalala pa at mapupunta pa sa critical ang kalagayan ng isang tao, dahil yung mga tao sa gobyerno ay wala silang hindi ganun ka lalim ang kanilang kaalaman sa field na ito. So image number 5, the last image. So this cartoon, or this image, it is a mocking editorial about the authorizing active and retired legislators to bear firearms. So sarcastically, the Manila press went outraged. So they stated that those people in authority must be respected. So this image, it says here that you must respect those people who can afford, or those people who are wealthy enough and has a power, like the specifically those retired legislators. So that's the main reason on why they can bring guns easily. So here in our country, if someone, or if you carry a gun or bring a gun outside without a legal papers or legal permit, the police might pwede kanilang huliin sa illegal na ginagawa mo, kasi bawal yan dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Pero kung pupunta ka sa ibang bansa, kagaya na lang sa Amerika, ang mga tao doon ay meron silang freedom na magdala ng baril sa labas, kahit na may tao na makakita sa kanila. Parang nakasanayan na ng mga tao doon na parang sa kanila, parang legal na sa kanila na yung isang tao ay may nag-aari ng baril. So in conclusion, editorial cartoons plays an important role in understanding the Filipino sentiments. So the artist has the freedom to express their feelings, their thoughts, their opinions through drawing or caricature. So it somehow influenced us, the Filipinos, at that particular period as well.